Every community has its warriors. On their streets,
the deputies that were off that day, they called in here and they didn't hesitate.
I asked my dispatcher where I needed to go.
In hospitals.
And one of our nurses actually had made a comment like, hey, what would we do if a tornado hit?
Watching an unprecedented event unfold in their community.
I don't know if we're there yet as a meteorology community to be able to predict something that strong yet, that early in the season, and certainly that's a challenge.
The day before at work, I thought, I was just having a bad day at work. And I put on a post on Facebook that said, what is everybody gonna do this weekend? I'm gonna win the lottery.
But this wasn't the lottery anyone wanted to win.
We did know for several days that had a good setup for severe weather, and certainly there was tornadoes were potential as well with that.
I want to say about 3:30, 3:45, I got a phone call from the Weather Service letting us know that there's a tornado that's possibly going to hit Vicksburg.
4:15, we got the first alert from the National Weather Service, and then 15 minutes later, about 4:36, the tornado was on the ground.
About 4:35 is when the tornado was spotted and touched down near Pamela Park.
It would end up being the deadliest tornado in Iowa since the Parkersburg EF5 in 2008. All 6 deaths from the long-track EF4 tornado occurred in Madison County. After rapidly intensifying just south of Winterset, the tornado weakened to an EF2 as it hit the southern suburbs of Des Moines, Norwalk, and Pleasant Hill. Finally, at 6 p.m., the tornado lifted just north of Newton.
You had to stay on the ground for over 70 miles, and for 94 minutes was just extraordinary, especially up here.
A path of devastation spanning 4 counties, causing nearly $250 million in damage, the costliest tornado in the United States in 2022. From 4:30 to just after 5 o'clock that Saturday, parts of Madison County would endure hell on earth.
While we were in the greenhouse, our tornado warning alerts went off on our phone, and we both kind of looked at each other like, what?
The next thing I know, I thought I'd moved my car under the garage in case it hailed. And then I could hear the train coming down the road, and that's when I knew the tornado was coming. By the time I got back in the basement, looked back out, I seen all the trees take off.
Madison County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
There is a tornado on the ground behind the fairgrounds. Debris everywhere.
With so much lost, that night, the community found its heroes.
I just started scanning the skies looking for any kind of rotation in the clouds, and that's when I saw it starting to form off in the distance. Saw the cloud rotation and saw it drop out of the sky.
Train spotter has visually confirmed a large tornado southwest of Winterset. Debris is now visible.
I was expecting to see like some little wispy thing, and the thing was massive. And it just stopped in your tracks.
I believe that's about where the tornado is right now in this area of 169 and Carver Road.
It only took like a couple of seconds to realize that's not moving one way or the other. The roar was getting louder, that it was coming towards us. I've never been so panicked in my life. That feeling of waiting and knowing that it's coming and it's gonna hit us, it's the most frightening thing I've ever experienced. Just not knowing what's gonna happen, not knowing if our house is gonna get sucked up off the foundation and blown away, and if we're going to be able to live. Really, really scary.
You're just coming out of the car wash and the blowers are hitting your car. That's kind of what the tornado sounded like.
Felt your face being sandblasted.
My one daughter felt the shaking of her room, and my other daughter saw a crack in the wall getting bigger. And we heard our house getting ripped apart just over our heads. Lots of screaming, and you can even hardly hear yourself scream because it was so loud.
There was that split-second moment where the house is going to go or it isn't, and by some miracle, the house took it.
Adam went up first. I think he was upstairs for about 10 minutes, and he yelled down at us, you know, Jen, you need to come up and take a look at this. I looked out our back door at this area that we're actually standing in now, and I saw it was gone. Everything was gone. I lost it a little bit. You know, I was trying to stay brave for the kids, but at that point, that's when I lost it a little bit.
The debris field is just, it was immense.
We've had other storms, but nothing like that.
Right about that time, the emergency room called and said, hey, we're gonna need some help.
We had no idea what was to come.
There was complete devastation, like a bomb went off. There was just people everywhere, debris all over the road, trees all over.
There's 3 occupants. They're all trapped in the residence.
Hello? Sheriff's office, can anyone hear me?
The first phone call came in. It was one of the first paramedics on scene to Carver Road. He just shouted, like, this is bad. There are fatalities and you need to get help right away. And then the phone call ended.
At this time, we can confirm that we have 6 fatalities, including 4 adults and 2 children under the age of 5.
Two decades, right? You've been here. Don't rank this, but how does it compare to events that you've experienced in the past here in Madison County?
Yeah, without question, the worst.
When the casualties started coming in and we were trying to identify them and having to have those difficult conversations with the family members, you know, you don't forget those things. Remember those conversations forever. And
On one side of Carver Road, where there was a house on the corner, it was completely gone. People that were running, there were some people bleeding. It was a lot of stuff in the air, a lot of debris. I wound up crossing over to the other side of Carver Road, where we ran into our first fatality.
I need help. What's your name? Don Houg. Don Houg? What's the address? What's your address again? Carver Road. I think a tornado just came through, and I think my neighbors passed away. Their house is gone. My house is gone.
When the deputies were going out and they were giving us the reports, it was very overwhelming. I myself, I've heard of all the damage that was out on Carver Road. I've never went out there.
There's no need.
No.
Can anybody hear me? Hey, I'm with the sheriff's office. We've got help on the way, okay? Just stay with me.
The hero's work was just beginning.
Hey, we're gonna try to start getting you out, okay? Just hang tight.
I remember specifically being in that house and doing what we were doing, and I looked over my shoulder, and I've gotten to know him pretty well. He's a volunteer firefighter from Earlham, so he's never paid, and now he's not even in his own town. He was here behind me inside this house, and that was powerful. Yeah, that was pretty powerful stuff.
Yep, there's 3 of them. They're all alive, but right here.
Like in this corner?
It's pretty amazing to see people coming together who don't always interact with each other, but when we had a mutual goal to achieve.
It seemed like about 3/4 of the hospital came in. People were called to come in, people came in on their own. People from the community came in. There were some providers that weren't affiliated with the hospital. They came in to help out.
The night wore on, but restlessness took over.
I tried to go to sleep, I couldn't go to sleep. And I think I might have laid down for 10 minutes, and I kind of got back up and I went out to Carver. It was dark and it was quiet. There was no one around, and that's kind of when I realized it wasn't a dream, right? Because when you see stuff like that, you think it's a dream or it can't be real. But that's when it really sank in for me, was that when everyone was gone and it was just dark and you can kind of see what the destruction, that was something that I realized this was real. So.
The day after the tornado, the first person showed up at 7 a.m.
I went home on Sunday early to get some breakfast, take a shower, and come back, and it was probably 7 in the morning or 7:30. I was coming back in, and I had to wait at my driveway because so many trucks and trailers and skid loaders and people were going towards town.
Over and over, the response was, we're Iowans, and that's what we do. We show up, we take care of our family, we take care of our neighbors, and we take care of our community.
Before the sun came up Sunday morning, recovery already well underway.
It was just amazing how many people came and showed up.
We ended up with 150 to 200 people out here on the farm.
But the element of community support in the aftermath was borderline incredible to watch.
Yeah. I worked the next day and we were getting calls from all over the United States. What do you need? Where can I help? We had people from other states bringing in chainsaws, big machinery, dump trucks, and just they were coming from everywhere.
Whether you have a badge on or you have a fire truck or a police car, or you're just a everyday citizen helping out, everyone's got the same kind of hands. We can all work together to get a job done.
It's very inspiring. You think about on Saturday we had a tornado, on Monday we had a snowstorm, right? But people still stuck it out to volunteer. About 1,000 volunteers that showed up, those first 120 days.
It doesn't seem like it's been just a year ago, but it's amazing what people have done and what people have gone through and what they're still going through.
We still have a lot of work to do. We're still missing some of our farm infrastructure.
It's not until you get to the thing you don't have and you're like, oh yeah, we don't have this, we don't have that.
I'll go and make a soup and realize that the stock pot's gone. And so then you put that on the list. That's another thing to order. There were lots of people that were in that same boat. We were able to move forward with insurance when it comes to structures. The most challenging that we've had is really talking about the contents portion of our insurance policy. What was in that room, and then you're having to look up, what's the replacement cost for every single thing that is in your house. It is overwhelming and time consuming. There's kind of a common theme of frustration, and it sometimes hinders that recovery process. I've got another neighbor, their insurance company wanted to have them prove that they even owned it. Well, where's the receipts? Well, the receipts are in the timber.
I think my only frustration with the insurance is all of the itemization of your contents. That's hard to come back with what you had, where you bought it, when you bought it, what you paid for it, what it's going to take to replace it.
But that's just something that insurance doesn't cover, both the cleanup effort and actually buying new trees.
Thank God that people supported us and donated, because we would not be where we are without people's help.
And that is what it all comes back to.
My biggest takeaway from this was the community effort. I'm very fortunate to work down here and live down in this community. We're Madison County strong here.
Oh my God, look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Oh my God.
We're going to come back from this, and we're going to be stronger together. We're a small community, but everyone's here to help each other out, and it's been one of the greatest things that I've seen in my life. For me, as emergency management, is I want to recover where we were before, or even better. And for me, that's the drive, is to continue to see that happen.
It was a tragedy, but the way people came together was just absolutely amazing.
People reaching out, how are you doing? I'm going to drop a meal off. That meant a lot.
We're getting closer to being back to where we were, but we still have a long way to go.
This side of the house stayed and everything, but you can kind of tell the difference.
You kind of tell the color difference in that wood.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of a darker,
yeah,
an oranger almost.
Right, orange there, you see the line there, and then on up, all that was blown out. You can see the new beams.
But some glass stayed intact.
So I was having a mixed drink before the tornado as we were watching the weather, and left it sitting on the table when we got the warning, and afterwards it was found down the hallway.
We still have nails coming out. We still need to finish the inside, but we're basically like one step at a time. The next thing that we'll do is we will insulate the inside and finish out the walls. But
every speck of money that we have has just been poured back into this farm.
One of my coworkers, it was a fellow teacher that came by and said, hey, this school put together some gift cards and gave it to me, and I want to give it to you. It was the first day back, and I just broke down crying.
And we certainly cannot forget about our feline friends.
So I thought, oh gosh, our cats are gone. And 2 days later, we were out there and we heard meowing, and they were out in the house where the house was, and they were walking around.
We had 9 cats that were outside during the tornado, and we had 7 of those cats actually come back to the farm. The 7th cat came back a week after the tornado from the direction that the tornado had gone. So we literally think that she had gotten carried away potentially with the tornado, survived and came back. We don't know. Like the stories that these animals could tell, each one that showed up, it just felt like a success and a victory and a happiness, something that we could celebrate together as a family.
The Madison County family bonded together over tragedy.
It really made you feel good that there's a lot of really good people out there, and everyone really stepped up to help out.
I'm really proud to be down in this community.
Thanks to everybody. Thank you so much to our family and our friends and the community and you guys and our builder and just everybody. People randomly still call and just say, hey, how are you? How's it going? Just thinking about you. So just a big thank you to everyone.
One thing that has stuck with us is that any sort of tragedy or event like this, people come together and are there for each other. And it's just a reminder that maybe we could all do that every other day of the year too, not just when something bad happens.
Now and forever, we are Madison County strong.